Welcome to Synthaholics. This is your host, David Duncan, and with me is co-host, Brian.
How you doing, David?
Doing good, doing good. How about you, man?
Oh, probably 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
as always. Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty good day. Pretty good day, I think.
So, today we're going to be talking about a bit of Peacemaker. We're going to be making the peace in the podcast and the show. That's what we're just peaceful people, is what we are. But before we get to that, we got news.
News. What news?
Well, not really news. More of a statement.
What news do we have?
First. So, Silent Hill is a video game.
Is it?
It is.
It's not a hill that has no one on it? That doesn't...
It might be. It's also that, too. It's also a hill that with nobody on it. But the domain for SilentHill.com expired. And some guy decided to spend $9,000 of his own money to buy the domain. And all he has on there right now is, if you go to SilentHill.com, is a tweet from the guy that created Pyramid Head saying, "I wish I never created Pyramid Head." And that's all I got. That's my statement. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you for listening to my statement.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't really have anything. I mean, as far as gaming news, I mean, you mentioned this before the show. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was announced, which is like, it just feels too soon after Arceus came out, and how neither of us wanted to play Arceus because it looks bad.
Yeah, I don't know. We still don't really know, or maybe we do know, but based on the trailer that we saw, it still could be like Sword and Shield. They didn't show like gameplay or anything. Well, maybe they did. I don't know.
I mean,
I kind of like half watched it.
Do you think they're gonna like bring Gigantamaxing back?
Probably. Who knows? What's the worst possible option? That's what they're gonna do.
Whatever
the worst possible option is.
Well, I don't know. They do a lot of gimmick. I wish Pokemon would just kind of stick to something and go with it instead of like introducing a new gimmick every generation.
Well, I'm fine with Arceus. It's just that they needed to, maybe wait like 5 years before they released it.
I don't know. This new game, Scarlet and Violet, it looks better than Arceus already, and this has got to be really early footage, which is bizarre.
Well, did you remember seeing the early footage for Arceus? That thing was running at 5 frames a second.
Yeah,
and it was even more barren empty. It was like a desert wasteland, and now it's like a desert wasteland with like a couple trees around.
Oh, I don't know. Have you seen the videos of Arceus, or when you're like flying, the Pokemon still move at like 5 frames a second, or like it's like stop motion animation when you're far away?
Oh no!
Yeah,
can't say I have, but I will say I still am blown away that this company can just keep getting away with it, because Pokemon fans respect Pokemon more than they respect themselves.
Yeah, earlier this week I found in the trailer for Sword and not Sword and Shield, for Violet and Scarlet. The names are getting stranger and stranger. We went to Sword and Shield, now we're back to colors.
Yeah, we're just going on. Well, they're just going whatever feels right at the time. Whatever the CEO of the Pokemon company has behind him on the desk, they're like, "Hey, that sounds good." So they had like a drift bloom, or what, the purple one.
Yeah,
they're like, "That's a good place to start.
We'll start there.
There. That one, it's going to be called Violet." Yeah, I don't know about the other one.
Yeah, I don't know. So like he just had a Sword and Shield one day. It's like,
yeah, he just had a Sword and Shield from Zelda. That he had the Master's Sword. Yeah, and the shield, and that's just how they came up with that. Because the Zelda people came to talk to him, and they're like, "Hey, why does Arceus look so bad?"
Well, we should do. Hopefully, they'll do Pokemon Nunchuck and Bow staff.
That would be pretty cool. I'll buy that game.
Nunchuck and Sai. Yeah, we can like
just get like
2 of the Ninja
Pokemon Guillotine and Torture Ox, where you like.
I don't know. Pokemon Iron Maiden and Guillotine.
Pokemon Guillotine and Iron Maiden.
Pokemon Rack and Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Guillotine kills you. The other 2 torture you. Actually, Iron Maiden probably kills you too.
I wouldn't want to participate in any of them.
Tomato.
It sounds like you're like, maybe I'll do this. No. I'm not going inside.
Pokemon waterboarding and Pokemon
And it has a
Uh,
strong that's the legendary. The legendary is a water type.
yeah, and then it's a companion one is Pokemon, cremation, or it's a fire.
Cremation.
Yeah, a
Gotcha,
waterboarding
gotcha.
cremation. It's the fire type Pokemon. Yeah, its mouth is just a
They
giant
they show the
furnace.
animation for it in game where it just like drops a towel on the Pokemon's face, and the other one just like hydro pumps at it.
I mean, they did some wacky stuff with the Pokemon, the pelican that eats the Pokemon and spits Pokemon at other Pokemon
Oh,
as an attack. Prod,
Crawdnott or
I don't know.
whatever. Yeah, that's a great Pokemon. If anybody doesn't know what that is, look it up. It looks fantastic, and I want one.
Like
It's
Yamper,
the
your
only
favorite
Pokemon I
Pokemon.
want. I don't want Yamper. No Yampers allowed.
No
I'll have my
Yampers,
Crawdont eat it all.
no Yampers were harmed in the making of this.
No, no, yeah. Well, they don't exist, so and they shouldn't. So it works out in everybody's favor, I guess.
All right, but it's kind of a light week on news as far as other news. There is the real life news is really heavy and awful right now. We're not going to talk about that. But video game and entertainment news. I don't remember much else.
That's
You?
all we got going on right now.
But to the main
But
topic,
yes, Peacemaker
Peacemaker.
is written by the one, the only James Gunn, who I am a big fan of.
Because you love
Who
Slither so much.
Yeah, I love
Your favorite,
yeah,
your
I
favorite
love
James Gunn piece is Slither.
yeah, that's definitely it. 100%.
I just love you just pumping up James Gunn, then you just hate Slither.
I mean, I
Slither's a
don't have
pretty
to
good.
love everything he's made. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Is that if you like something, if you like one person, you have to
Absolutely.
like everything?
Everything.
Okay, they can't miss. So as soon as you like somebody, you have to like it, no matter what. I'll die on this hill
Yeah, no,
saying everything they do is amazing.
no, it's fine. I mean,
But he
Slither,
writ most of it.
Slither was fine. I enjoyed it. I'm mostly a big Nathan Fillion fan, which is why I enjoyed Slither.
So if he wasn't in it, would you like it?
It would have definitely took a point or two off.
So it would have gone like a 4 out of 10 to like 1.
Yeah, probably something like that. No, I'd give Slither like a 6 or 7. It was I enjoyed it. Fine.
Well, before we always start, we have to rate Peacemaker. It's an
Rate
important
Peacemaker.
process we have going on here. Very technical and high calculation abilities. That's a word. Anyway, David, Peacemaker, directed by James Gunn, 8 episodes. What do you rate it?
I'm gonna go with a 9. I really enjoyed
A
this show.
9.
Like there's almost nothing I didn't like. I mean, like it's not a perfect show by any means, but like I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Probably the best show I've seen in a while. I mean, it's up there with probably new shows like The Boys, The Expanse. As far as relatively new shows that are good, like this was fantastic. I love this show a lot. How about you?
Well, we normally end up taking a more cynical path on the things we talk about. However, that being said, today is not going to be one of those days because I also am going to give it a 9 out of 10. This show is great. I think everybody should watch it. And it's weird because besides you and one other person, I don't know anybody else who's watched it really. Nobody. I don't know if it's because it's just on HBO Max and people don't have HBO Max or whatever the case is. But
I know
if you haven't seen it, watch
that's probably the biggest strike against it being on HBO Max.
it.
Jeff
Yeah.
Heller, our friend we had on last week, he's only seen a couple episodes. He's loving it so far, but he's not super far into it. Last I spoke.
Yeah, I think pretty much Netflix still has a hold on pretty much all like streaming platforms. I don't know what the percentages are for who has what or whatever, but like Netflix is probably still on top, and I would imagine HBO Max is probably down there pretty far in terms of like how many people have it. I know Disney Plus is really struggling, but HBO, I don't know. They might be doing good. They might be doing bad, but you're the only other person I know that really watched Peacemaker.
I mean, you should definitely watch it. It's really weird because like pacing TV versus movies different. The show I thought was perfectly paced for like a TV show. I mean, it all worked really well, and all the supporting cast was really great and a lot of fun.
Yes.
in this show. Like I really don't have like anything overall negative to say. Really, I wish it was longer.
I wish it kept going forever.
Like in
Maybe
this
not forever.
and narratively, the jokes in this show, like a couple of them had like were came up in episode 1 and had payoff in episode 8. I mean, like
Well, that's
things
James Gunn. That's James Gunn.
things aren't written this well anymore. Like
James Gunn. Thank you, James Gunn.
so many things are train wrecks where they can't even remember what happened from one episode to another episode. But there is at least 2 references that came up in either episode 1 or 2 that were definitely had payoff in episode 8, which was like, oh my god, this is great. This is absolutely great. I love it when you do a Chekhov's gun correctly.
Thank you, James Gunn. Well, and also just to since I still like James Gunn and what you're saying is James Gunn's work. This dude wrote Peacemaker before Suicide Squad. He knew for some reason, like he was like, yeah, this is just gonna work, which was awesome. Like that, it was Peacemaker was pretty much filmed, but after Suicide Squad came out, before the show was even announced. Like this was coming out regardless, and James Gunn just knew something. He just saw something, a twinkle in John Cena's eye, saying, "You're gonna be in a TV show, son, and you're gonna do great."
And it's not going to be a wrestling TV show.
It's not gonna be wrestling, but you are gonna still be like super jacked and super muscular because you're gonna do a lot of steroids still. But
we will not remove the steroids from you.
Do not remove the steroids. I'm sure he works out a lot, but like he's definitely on steroids. Anyway, would you say
I'm not gonna go on that tree?
would you say this is the best DC EU content made so far? They got a weird like cinematic universe, I guess, but a lot of things don't connect. But would you say, and at least in modern times with it in the, I don't know, last 10 years, 5 years?
100%. This is the best DCEU thing. And it's better than most Marvel EU TV shows, honestly. I feel like this show does more for the overall world building of DCEU than most of the Marvel shows do. Because like Falcon and the Winter Soldier they took a really long time to give the Falcon the shield, even though he had the shield at the end of Endgame. They just, hey, let's do like 8 episodes and about how he gives up the shield and gets it back, and so he's basically in the same spot he was. So
the closest thing to this for Marvel in terms of TV shows, I think, was probably the first half of WandaVision, and then Loki's closer. Nothing's above Peacemaker, I don't think, but those are the 2 that I think of. Like the top tier of what Marvel has put out in terms of TV shows. This surpasses even that.
Oh, absolutely. It was so great, builds the lore, and it's got a very The Boys vibe.
It's very adult.
If you liked The Boys, you'll probably like this because it's so similar in tone to The Boys, even though like
I'm not going to say I'm going to speak for you, and I'm going to take probably out of that sentence, and I'm going to say will. If you liked The Boys, you will like Peacemaker. It's not probably. There's no reason why you wouldn't. They're very tonally the same type of show. Very adult, very bloody and gory type of stuff. Jokes. All of it's pretty much the same, except it now is in DC and not The Boys or whoever owns The Boys. Yeah. I have no idea. It's pretty much the same thing. Like they're dealing with a lot of heavy topics. Peacemaker's father, for example, is something that can't be in movies. You would not be able to put Peacemaker's father. I don't know how much we want to get into Peacemaker's father, but I guess we could spoil it.
He's the T-1000 from the future. He turns into liquid metal.
What? T-1000?
That's the same actor, Robert Patrick.
Oh, okay. I don't know too much about that guy's work. Anyway, yeah, he's like this like super like Nazi man who's
his father in the comics was a Nazi, and after he died, Peacemaker sees visions of him. So they're staying true to the comics and that. that Peacemaker is starting to see visions of his father. I didn't know this watching the show. I did research on Peacemaker after watching the show, and it's kind of following those kind of beats where, like, his father's dead now. He seems like he's kind of going crazy, seeing visions of his father. Um, his other backstory stuff in the comics makes him seem like he's like kind of smart, like he's like a lawyer for the government or something. Like in Peacemaker
Oh,
is kind
Peacemaker's
of
father?
no Peacemaker himself.
Peacemaker. Oh,
Peacemaker
he's
himself
not
is
a.
like
He would.
is
Yeah, he
way
wouldn't be a lawyer in
smarter
this
in the
one.
comics than he is in the show. Since his
Yeah, no,
father
they dumbed him
created all
down.
this.
They dumbed him down.
Yeah, they dumbed him down, which I mean
They
is
dumbed him down.
fine. It's
Well,
a lot of fun.
I guess I prefer this. If I want to see a lawyer, I'll watch Daredevil.
Yeah.
Anyway, that moving on from his father, I think we'll circle back to that. But favorite characters. I definitely 100% have some favorite characters here. Besides pretty much all the characters are pretty great. But there's two of them that stand out for me, and I don't know if one of them you can count as a character. But like
Eagly and Vigilante, is that what you're talking about? The two
we never even talked about that, and you already know what I'm thinking.
The two names,
Eagly and Vigilante are fantastic 10 out of 10 characters. For sure. Anytime Vigilante is on there, there's one joke he makes. I don't know, it must be in episode 1 or 2, where it just like sold me on it, where Peacemaker was talking to him, and he's like, do you think I want to kill somebody after they do graffiti? I was like, that like he's just a psychopath, insane person.
He's absolutely
just
insane.
Like if you do anything wrong, he kills you. There's like, it's not like you do a minor parking job wrong. This dude will show up and just kill you.
Yeah. You smoke weed. He's like, three years ago, I would have killed you both for this.
Exactly. Vigilante is insane, and I'm super glad, because I thought for sure, before we even knew what the ending of the show was, I thought they were going to kill him. I really thought they were going to kill him, because nobody really felt safe in this show. I felt like anybody could have died.
Oh, it seemed like anyone could have died, and like they could have, like, I mean, especially the last episode, it was giving me Serenity vibes. Where like it looked like everyone was going to die.
Yeah, that's what it did look like. That it did look like that. But are you on I guess the same wavelength as me when I'm saying, Vigilante and Eagly are probably the best characters / not a character in the show.
Yeah.
Not to say that all the characters are pretty cool. I mean, not to take away from John Cena's performances either. Like, he's also fantastic.
John Cena,
as well.
Like, I would never have pegged him as a decent actor, and he has.
Well, he has his moments. He's not like the greatest actor. He definitely like.
No. Yeah, I'm not saying I didn't think he was gonna be like Orson Welles, but I'm just saying like. I'm just saying, like, he's got way more range than I would have thought.
For sure.
Like, it's really good, especially like whenever he's crying over Eagly at one point. Like, he's definitely got more range than I would have thought. For a guy, maybe that's due to James Gunn's good directing, because I mean, a good director can make a bad actor act good, but a bad director can make good actors act bad. So my
words of wisdom.
Case in point, George Lucas directing the prequels. Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor, Liam Neeson, all like A caliber actors. Their acting is pitiful in the prequels. And then you go to like Chronicles of Riddick, where I don't think Vin Diesel's that good of an actor, but I don't know who directed that one, but dang, that they got some good performances out of Vin Diesel in Chronicles of Riddick. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's a great good director makes a big difference. And James Gunn directed most of these episodes, and he didn't use an annoying fisheye lens like all the time that happened in the Book of Boba Fett. So I mean,
because James Gunn is a good director and writer, man. James Gunn bandwagon right here. Look no further. So we should talk about the cast of characters, the pseudo Suicide Squad that they kind of have going on. We got Peacemaker.
I mean, they do call it Task Force X at the end.
Yeah, so I don't know, but they're
They're a
not really
spinoff of Task Force S.
who knows? Who knows? We got to wait for season 2, which happily is greenlit. God knows when it's going to come out though, because James Gunn generally only works on one thing at a time, and he's booked until like the end of 2023. So we'll see where that goes.
Mm.
I don't know when we'll get it, but I'm looking forward to it either way. There is Amanda Waller's daughter, who I can't think of the name.
I can't. I watched this whole season twice, and her name escapes me. Her name is just like syllables.
They don't really talk about it.
Oh, they say her name a lot. It's just a word that just doesn't register on me, and I feel bad.
It doesn't compute.
It does not compute. It's a name I've never heard before, and so it just goes. And I don't have anything to relate it to. Like usually with names, it's like, oh, I've met a Brian before. Oh, I've met it. Like regular names I hear more often. Like you associate it with something, so you've got something to latch onto it, even if it's a new person you've never met. To me, she's the Orange is the New Black girl.
That's what yeah. She's the Orange is the New Black girl.
That's what I know her from, and she's super recognizable. I love her. She was a great character. She was a lot of fun in this show. I feel bad that I don't remember her name. But
well, now that we're establishing who she is. Here's my first nitpick.
Amanda Waller's daughter.
Amanda Waller's daughter. I have a nitpick here.
Yeah.
Amanda Waller says in episode 1 that she's very gifted. I waited the entire season for her to show that she's very gifted, and it never really happened.
Hey, she became Human Torpedo.
That's what you would call. That's what Amanda Waller was referring to at the end. We should preface what Human Torpedo means. What does Human Torpedo mean?
She has very strong bones. She withstood 2 Human Torpedo attacks.
Okay, all right. First off, that's not very gifted in my mind. That was kind of like that would have been stupid because Peacemaker said exactly what we're talking about is Peacemaker's helmet. If you've seen the Suicide Squad, you know what it looks like. Things. Yeah, they all do different things. Some of them do some gravity stuff. One of them, does a supersonic blast or whatever. Another one turns a human into like literally a torpedo. One's X-ray vision.
First. Yeah.
So he has a bunch of helmets. How did he get these helmets? Well, his father is, I guess, Iron Man.
He's Nazi Iron Man. I mean, it makes sense because he's got he makes all this tech and he has like this white dragon Nazi
he's like
KKK outfit. He's like a KKK superhero villain thing.
Yeah, that has the same type of powers as what Iron Man has.
Basically, yeah.
Since it is DC, I don't know about at least right now, but I feel like just because DC characters are generally stronger than Marvel characters, he's probably in the comics. I don't know anything about the comics, and I could be completely wrong. Side note, he's probably stronger than Iron Man. That's my guess. I think he's probably stronger than Iron Man in some type of iteration in the comics.
Considering what the helmets can do, I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm basing it off of. Those helmets are really powerful.
He might be smarter than Iron Man, although they're all different helmets for different things, so you can't build them all into one. No all-in-one helmet. I wonder if he's gonna be able to get new helmets going forward.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, his dad is like some super genius that builds things, I guess, and he works in like a quantum realm with that inside his house. That's like the size of like a planet inside his house closet. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. They didn't explain it.
Yeah, it's a quantum bubble outside of normal space time. If it walks like a duck, it's a duck.
If it walks like a duck, what does that even mean?
No one could be a duck. That doesn't make any sense.
You'll have to watch a show to get that one. Yeah. To get that, I don't want to spoil that. But that was my problem with her is that she's Amanda Waller, who's I guess this, as we were saying last night, she is probably lawful evil. Is what I'd give her. Lawful evil for Amanda Waller. But
I don't know. I don't know. We were doing alignments. I didn't give Amanda Waller an alignment. I don't know. I think she's like.
Well, we didn't talk about Amanda Waller. I'm just saying back to our alignments talk.
Alignments. I don't know. I think she's chaotic evil because she doesn't care about the law because she told him to stand down from the starfish, so she was fine with evil happening.
Yeah, so she's somewhere in the evil. I don't know if she's well. Yeah.
Maybe she's definitely maybe she's neutral evil.
Neutral evil. She could be neutral evil. She could be neutral evil for sure.
She's
But
on the
still,
border of lawful because she is like kind of on the law because she's using them to do good things, but also she's kind of just straight up evil. Like I don't know, weird.
yeah.
Amanda Waller straddles a couple alignment signs,
There's
or
so
maybe
that
she's
was
true
one of
neutral.
my nitpicks is that Amanda Waller says her daughter's very gifted and she does not prove that she's very gifted in anything, whether that be brains or brawn. Another character is Diebeard. What do you think of Diebeard, Dave?
Diebeard was great.
Diebeard is in the
I
Suicide
loved
Squad.
yeah, he was in the Suicide Squad.
He's like the
And
IT guy.
yeah, and he's the IT guy in this. He frames Peacemaker's father. He likes hair metal, which is what starts bringing him over to Peacemaker, enjoying his company.
Oh wait, hold on. We gotta go back a little bit since you said that. The opening for Peacemaker
I'm surprised we didn't start with
potentially.
that.
I'm surprised either. I don't know how it slipped our mind. I think this might be one of my favorite openings in any TV series ever.
I never skipped it ever. I watched
Neither
it
did
every
I.
single time, and I watched the entire series twice.
You watch it every time. That's the requirement. That's a rule.
It's so good. It's at first I was like, "What the hell is this?" But it is just so catchy.
It is catchy. The songs. It all goes back again to Mr. James Gunn. He puts good songs into his stuff. He always has.
Like the music in Peacemaker is great. Like whenever they start listening to music when they go on the road to do like their missions and stuff, it's just great. And the banter.
It's a James Gunn special. If you see anything with James Gunn, just assume there's gonna be good music in it.
Yeah.
So, back to Diebeard. He is just kind of around. He's a cool character. He's not super into it, or he's not a super major character, but it's nice to have him around. Nice to have him around for sure.
I love Diebeard, and he kills the bear with a chainsaw, or was it a bear?
The gorilla.
Gorilla with a chainsaw.
It was a gorilla.
It's a big monster.
Okay, hold on. We just jumped way far ahead to like how they even get into that situation. But so I guess with that we'll move on to Myrn, who is kind of like the leader of their little group.
Who doesn't express any emotions and like gets annoyed whenever.
Yeah, he is like the leader of their group. What do you think of Myrn? And then we'll get into what Myrn really is.
Well, he was the only character I didn't super love. Like he didn't seem that. I mean, he was more like just interesting. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he had no emotions and was talking about it, and then the fact that we kind of learn why he starts. He's a person that's starting to express these emotions.
Yes,
because of what happened to him. So I mean, like he was interesting. I didn't love him as a character, but he wasn't bad. Like he was just kind of. He was there. He was like a necessary character to have in the show for the show to work. But I mean, he was probably like, I guess my least favorite character. But
least favorite character.
But I don't know. Like it wasn't like I don't know. He didn't do anything for me. I didn't.
We're breaking down your psychology here. We're breaking it down. We're breaking it down. We're gonna figure it out. But anyway, Myrn's character.
What did you think of him?
Is he's not alive technically. Myrn is the character that we see on screen is not alive anymore. He is dead.
Myrn is dead
because the whole plot of the show is
it's an alien invasion story.
We're just super gonna spoil things now with it. Within the next 5 minutes, you'll be spoiled of the entire show.
This is Synthaholics. We spoil everything here. That's like our jobs. If don't
so leave it forever, hold your peace.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's an alien invasion show. They're butterflies, as they call them in the show, that will kill a human through going in their mouths and taking over their bodies for turning planet Earth into something that's not being destroyed by, governments and companies and, all the bad things that we all know about in our day-to-day lives.
So basically the butterflies escaped from their planet because their planet was basically dying because of like all this
same stuff our planet is dying.
So they came here because it was still sustaining life, but then they figured out we're doing the same thing that they did to their planet. They're trying to stop it. So they're kind of good, But to take over humans, they basically have to kill them because they burrow into
They
their
have to, yeah,
brains.
they have to
Yeah.
kill them. So really, with them saving the planet that we live on, humans can no longer be here, which is not really a good thing. That's kind of like, this is kind of like, I guess, our planet, but that's what the plot of the show is. And Myrn is one of these people, which he doesn't make it to the end, man. He doesn't make it to live into season 2.
He
He
gets triple killed.
dies.
So
Yeah,
he
he
so
gets.
he so he died. So he dies to become a butterfly. When he has a butterfly in him, that's when he kind of starts expressing emotions. Then he gets gunned down in the second to last episode, and then the butterfly comes out, and then they kill his butterfly.
And he's killed by a bunch of other butterflies.
Yes.
This is the saddest bug death I've ever seen in my life. When they have Agent Amelia, or whatever her name, I think it's something like that. Amelia, I think, is her name. She is in the cast, the like little task force group. She's the girl of the group, I guess. She's pretty cool. We didn't talk about her yet. She's just an agent, I guess, that
Yeah.
does agent stuff. She's holding Myrn, the alien, in her hand, and Myrn like holds up his little, like, I don't know what, like, pincer thing, because he's just like kind of like a praying mantis,
Mm.
and they like touch each other, and then it dies. It was a sad bug death. I did not cry, but I was sad.
You were sad. It was a powerful scene. Like, I mean, even though he wasn't like my favorite character or anything, it was still a powerful scene. Like, it was
Yeah,
good. Like, I didn't dislike anyone in the show, really. It's just he didn't stand out other than being, an alien among them.
sure, that makes sense. So a little bit about the police force. There's a wacky policeman that kind of is on Peacemaker's side, but like
Well,
becomes not on Peacemaker's side.
he's Mern's friend.
Yes, he's Mern's
He's
friend.
Mern's friend. He infiltrates the police department to like keep Peacemaker's father in jail.
Yes,
But
exactly.
Peacemaker's father being in jail is has one of the best scenes in the entire show, where Amanda Waller's daughter is like she's talking to Vigilante, and he's out of costume, and he's like, oh, I'm not Vigilante. I just sound like Vigilante, I guess, according to you. And so she is asking him, like, she's basically suggesting that Peacemaker's father should die. So he goes into the back of this
Very easily manipulated.
jail, and he's very easily manipulated. Maybe that's what makes her special. She's good at manipulation, and Amanda Waller likes that about her.
It could be, but I mean,
Maybe.
she didn't really try that hard. Vigilante's
Oh.
just he kind of just was like, yeah, somebody to kill, I'm in.
He's done something bad, I'm in. He goes into the back where like all the policemen are having lunch or whatever outside, grabs the nearest trash can, like no one stops him, asks him what he's doing, and then as soon as he throws the trash can at the window, they all arrest him. He gets put in jail, and then he walks up to Peacemaker's father, who's surrounded by a bunch of other white supremacists, KKK, Nazi people, and he just like, it's like, hey, what's your favorite black contribution to American society? And he like goes off on them, calls them a bunch of like awful things, and so they get mad at him, and like he just kicks, like they attack him, so he just self-defends himself, and
He's also a
takes
beast.
them
Like,
down.
it's
Yeah,
not like he's just talking a bunch of garbage and he's not like, and he can't back it up. He's not like somebody you want to mess with. He's like kind of powerful. Like,
he's a
for
good
like, as
fighter.
far as just a normal human goes, he is not a weak guy.
Yeah, he's a really
He looks
good
like a
fighter.
weak guy, but he's a martial artist. He can shoot guns. Like,
And his pinky toes half cut off at this point because of
yes,
Doth.
his pinky toes is half cut off.
And
But I did like the police captain. I thought he was kind of like scary and weird, or what, I don't know what else you would call him, but he was interesting. I liked him.
nothing is scarier and weirder is when the butterfly takes him and everyone else over. That scene was kind of terrifying and
When
awesome.
they're walking through
with
the
music,
police
and
station,
they're all smiling. Like his smile is probably the most terrifying thing. And
it reminded me of Pennywise from It. Pennywise the clown.
Like all of their smiles were just haunting.
Well, it's like they were trying to figure out how to smile because they're newly taken over by the
Yeah,
butterflies.
they mentioned that like every smile is different when they take over a different human. It's
Yes.
so good, so good.
We also haven't talked about Judo Master yet.
And
Judo
Judo Master
Master,
was Goff's bodyguard. He's a human, but he understands the agenda of the butterflies,
and he's
and
on board.
and he's on board with helping out the butterflies. And he is like a 4 foot nothing uh
Judo
martial
Master.
artist, yeah, judo master, yes, who loves eating flaming hot Cheetos or whatever those were.
He
If
also
it
will not
was
give up.
yes,
He is like just like no matter what you do to him, he's gonna keep going. Even though he's just a normal dude, like you hit him in the head with a crowbar, do anything you want with him, he's still making it. He's making it out of this, and he's gonna continue on.
he keeps going and going. Nothing outlasts the judo master battery.
He's in the last episode. I think that's the closing scene. Is Judo Master? Isn't that the closing scene after everything's said and done? He kind of shows up into the battlefield of the end of the battle,
Oh, he just walks
just
over. Yeah,
standing there. Yeah,
yeah.
trying to figure out what's going on. So this towards brings us towards the end when Peacemaker, uh, they're running through the forest at the end. They're on the run because now all the police people are taking over, and his dad has escaped from jail, and he brings his KKK people to try to kill his son because the only reason Peacemaker's father is in jail because he got framed by kind of his
Diebeard,
son by proxy.
by Diebeard,
Yeah, by Diebeard.
because Diebeard
So
wouldn't put Ariana Grande in the jail. He had
exactly,
to put his
that's a
father in
long joke
jail.
that you're gonna have to watch to get into to understand that one. But they are starting to. They just drive. They run through a forest. The KKK people and his father. This is where we find out that Peacemaker's father is like essentially Iron Man. They run and they eventually get caught. Something happens. They eventually meet up, and Peacemaker has a difficult time here because he has to make a tough choice to kill his father or not to kill his father. Because why Peacemaker is who he is because Peacemaker killed his brother when he was a child, and I guess that kind of spiraled him down to be this crazy, insane person.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who'd caused that was his father, and I guess he wants revenge, just doesn't want him around anymore. I don't know. So after he kills his father, because he makes that choice, kind of haunts him for the rest of the show.
Yeah, and he sees visions of his father. And basically they're trying to kill the cow. So the butterflies can't eat human food. They need their own little their honey nectar stuff, and they have a cow they milk. And they're in trouble. They call in the Justice League.
Yeah,
Which
this
in the
is one of
first
the
in
closing
the
scenes.
in the first episode there was a joke which was the Diebeard joke that came from the first episode, but also was that Aquaman likes to fornicate with fish. But that came up early on in the series, and they mentioned bringing in the Justice League. They take down the cow. Half the team looks like they're gonna die, and then the Justice League shows up once everything has been done.
Yes, the Justice League do have a cameo in this, specifically the Flash, Wonder Woman,
Superman.
Aquaman, and Superman.
No,
I don't
no,
think
no,
Batman was there.
no Batman.
No
Because I
Batman.
guess they're not sure which Batman it's going to be, since
That was a choice that was made. They chose not to put him there for whatever reason. They did make that choice. And the only two that talk is Ezra Miller, who's the Flash, and Jason Momoa, who's Aquaman. The
yeah,
other two, I guess,
Superman
just
Superman and Wonder Woman are in shadow.
yeah, they don't
The entire
actually
time.
show you. I know there are some contract problems with Henry Cavill and Superman, but it looks like they were using Henry Cavill's Superman. And I guess Gal Gadot just wasn't available for her Wonder Woman cameo. I don't know what happened there,
And
but
I'm sure it was really hard just to get Jason Momoa and Ezra. So the
yeah.
fact that they got him at all was that so, like
Well, their
they bring
schedules
up
probably also aren't as jam packed as like Henry Cavill or
yeah,
Gal Gadot.
yeah,
They're in a lot more stuff than
yeah,
those two.
but
Especially Ezra Miller. I think he's only in like two things. He's in like the Harry Potter movies and this.
yeah. Oh, then so like they bring up the fornicating fish thing to Aquaman, and he's like, "F you, I don't do that." And Ezra Miller's like, "Yeah, you do."
It pays off, man.
It
The whole
pays
show,
off.
everything pays off.
The dyebeard thing also pays off because he pretends like he's taken over by a butterfly, and one of the butterflies asks him, "Why did you do that to your beard?" And he goes through this heartbreaking story about how he's underpaid, and he was hoping dyeing his beard would make him look more handsome by making him look younger, but he didn't have time or the money to dye the roots, and he also bought the cheapest hair color because he's underpaid. Like it's just like really heartbreaking story that he just wants to be attractive and like wants to find a girlfriend, but like he's lazy and overworked and doesn't have the time. And so the dye beard joke pays off. It's just absolutely great. Just like I love setup and payoff. This is how
Everything that was set up in
TV
this
should
show
be done.
pretty much paid off. Anything that was set up does have a concrete conclusion to what happens.
Oh, so good. So good. I love good payoff.
Also, talking about the cow for a second. Now, when I don't know, I guess I missed this when I was watching it. When they said cow, I assumed it was just going to be a cow that a butterfly took over. That is not the case at all.
Oh,
The cow
I mean,
is like, what did you think? I'm crazy, right?
well, they said they took it from their planet, so I didn't expect it to look like a
Okay.
cow.
All right. I missed that. I missed that. But yeah, the cow is like a giant, like it's not small.
It's like
It's
a giant
a big
floating
blob.
caterpillar thing with like a baby eye, big baby eyes and a baby like face. It's
Yes.
kind of horrifying.
It reminds me of the baby from Resident Evil Village, if anybody's played that.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
if you played it, you know what it looks like. That's what it reminded me of. But
And
yeah, it was just constantly being milked for its juices, so the butterflies can eat.
so they don't all die off. And
That's
Amanda Waller's
Peacemaker.
daughter has the human torpedo hat on, and while
Yep.
Goff, well the butterfly. So John's Peacemaker had kept a butterfly after killing a host once, and it was named Goff, and it eventually takes over one of these policemen. So
Yes.
the policeman's like, I'm Goff. Like so she's explaining the whole thing that we already explained about the aliens planet trying to like, make Earth a better place. And you know, he sees Amanda Waller's daughter like wake up after her first human torpedo experiment. So he turns on the helmets again and she torpedoes through the cow. It was great.
It's a pretty cool scene.
Great scene.
It's a pretty cool scene.
So good.
It's all great. Very
Payoff.
gory.
And then at the very end, she goes out and exposes Task Force X. So that totally changed. Like, will they make another Suicide Squad? Can they make another Suicide Squad? How will the next season play out now that Task Force X has been exposed to the world? Like, that's kind of groundbreaking
For the DCEU.
For the DCEU. Like, how is that going to change the future? I mean, that's got ramifications for sure. I mean, I would imagine.
It will. I'm upset there's not more, and I'm upset that like we don't know what's going to happen now. James Gunn is being pulled in all different directions because he essentially works for Marvel and DC making stuff because he's so good at what he does.
Well, he's got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Yeah, those are the two things he's working on now, and then he will work on Peacemaker, which unfortunately isn't going to be for quite a while. So we're not going to find out what those ramifications are, and I don't think we'll get a Suicide Squad movie before we get Peacemaker season 2. Because who's going to do it? I don't know who's going to do. I don't know who would do it, or who DC, I guess, at this point would hopefully trust to do it.
DC is even doing, because I'm gonna go see the Batman tonight and see how that goes. I mean, I know it's not really connected, and I've read interviews from the director saying he doesn't really want to connect it to the DCEU yet. I'm just like, why? Like,
he also might not have that choice. He might just be saying that. It's not going to be up to him if DC wants to make Batman in the DCEU that they're making. It's not the director's choice.
The Joker with the Joaquin Phoenix wasn't a part of it either.
No, it's like its own thing. But DC could pull these characters into their grand scheme of things if they wanted to. It's the director doesn't own Batman.
I'm assuming Flashpoint will hopefully.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Questions of what's happening with the future of the DCEU, because I mean, it seemed like they were killing off the DCEU because they don't want the Snyderverse and they don't want all this stuff anymore. but Peacemaker kind of brought it back to the forefront by having Ezra, Jason Momoa show up as the Flash and Aquaman.
Yeah.
Seems
Or
like
maybe they're only going to keep
those two, and then the rest.
only because those two for sure. Aquaman, because we know there's an Aquaman 2 in the works, and we know Flashpoint is coming. For the other ones, we don't know. I guess they don't know what they're doing with Batman, so they didn't even include him because there's the Ben Affleck Batman. Now there's not Taylor Lautner, Robert Pattinson's Batman, and Henry Cavill's having some problems with his contract, and they don't know if they want him to be Superman anymore. So I guess for those are the only two that are confirmed to continue on in the DCEU for sure.
Yeah, and
That might have been why
Flashpoint
they
could
did it.
just move into a different universe or whatever, and then that's why Batman and Superman are different. Yeah, Wonder Woman, whatever. They could do whatever
Yeah.
they want, doing their own multiverse thing soon.
Well, once you include Flashpoint, which maybe
Which is
Flashpoint
weird.
will pay off for him.
We talked about Flashpoint like just before the podcast, like years ago at our old place of employment, and we were like, "Why are they doing Flashpoint?" It's been years and years
Already.
and years. Yeah, already, and it's been years and years and years and years since that time, and now it's like, okay, now
It makes sense.
Flashpoint makes sense because they have to like fix all these weird issues that they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure
Like,
when we
imagine
were
if Flashpoint
saying
came out 2 or 3 years ago before
it wouldn't have
all this other,
worked.
it wouldn't make any sense. But now that there's all these contract issues,
Yeah.
Flashpoint is going to be there, hopefully, to solve those issues.
Yeah, hopefully, big because DC doesn't have the greatest track record. But yeah, we did say a few years ago that Flashpoint was probably a bad idea since they didn't have any Justice League characters really established yet before it got announced.
I mean, they
And now that
still
they've made this big
don't.
mess,
Yeah.
Flashpoint can fix it.
Yeah, hopefully,
Which is
that's a lot. That's a lot
which
of
is
pressure
cool.
to put on one movie, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, well, if anybody can do it, the Flash can because the Flash is the greatest superhero of all time.
Speed fixes everything.
Mic drop.
Oh,
Anyway,
that was Peacemaker. Go watch it.
yeah, David, would you recommend it? I'm assuming.
Yes, go watch
I
it. Then watch it
recommend
again.
it as well. Get HBO Max. I don't know. There's probably a 14-day trial. It seems like most things have that.
Go on YouTube and watch the intro and loop. It's great. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, do that too. Actually, just watch if you like the intro. Go on
There's an
YouTube, watch the
Eagly.
intro. If you like it, watch Peacemaker.
There's an Eagly compilation where they cut all the scenes with Eagly together on YouTube. You can just watch.
Oh wait,
Eagly.
we gotta talk about Eagly real quick.
Oh yeah,
Eagly is Peacemaker's pet
eagle.
bald eagle, and it's fantastic because it acts like a dog would. It's like Eagly, go do this.
Except for dropping off the helmet, it didn't do that one. But otherwise,
do that. It's also a beast. Like it will, like if you Eagly, go kill this person.
Yeah, he like was taking people's eyes out. Like it was brutal.
No joke. Eagly, you don't want to mess with Eagly.
Eagly's fight scenes were brutal.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, now that you know about Eagly, I think we've covered just about everything Peacemaker has to cover.
Yeah, we talked about Eagly early on, then we kind of forgot about him.
We're circling back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a good show. Like it's
for one time, we're giving a high recommendation. Even though, well, there are definitely things we should recommend. Like, definitely watch Spider-Man and all that. But like this one,
we didn't hate Spider. It's just the weird question of where it fits in and what they're doing. You know, of course, we think they're just writing him out, like what Jeff was saying. But
yeah, it was still very good. Go watch it.
It's still unclear. It's still clear. Yeah, it's good. Watch it. It's very entertaining. Like the Daredevil cameo is one of the highlights.
Fantastic. But this show is like this is without finishing the year, this is gonna probably be top three best shows of the year for me. Because I know The Boys is coming out, and I'm sure there's other stuff I can't think of. Potentially, the Lord of the Rings show could be up there for me. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so
I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan too. But look what they did to Wheel of Time.
Yeah, I know. So I don't have my hopes up for that, but Lord of the Rings does have things I like in it. So we'll see. But yeah, this is definitely going to be, and anybody who watches it, probably top favorite shows of 2022. Absolutely. And you should watch it.
Go do it.
Yes. So I guess we've reached the end. As always, email David at synthaholics@yahoo.com.
All right, you can go ahead and do that. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you guys had a good time. And long live Eagly.